You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show, right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. Season 9, Episode 18, Secrets of a Double Life. I'm your host, Bobby DeMuro, of course, with Francesca Dugan, Jessie Owen, and Sterling Kate. Sterling, welcome back. How was San Francisco?
So fun. I saw Kanye. He preached the whole time during his concert.
Did you, literally see Kanye?
I, literally saw Kanye. Bible. And I was so excited. I made sure we got there super early, got a good spot at the concert, and everyone was so disappointed because he'd drop a beat and then he would just talk the whole time, and everyone was like, please, we just want to hear click one time, please. And then he would drop the next beat and talk over it.
What was he talking about? Was it Kim and North and stuff like that?
The same stuff. They were just like, they're trying to hold me back, I'm trying to do all these things, and I just kind of I was having a good time.
Wait,
so
did you just say he said Kim and North were trying to hold him back?
No, society.
Oh, society. Oh, okay, of course. Oh. Yeah. Society's sure holding them back to the tune of $40 million a year or whatever it is. Okay, I'll believe you. All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about today on Secrets of a Double Life. A lot of different double lives are being lived in this episode, but let's start out with Kris. Now, the first thing about Kris I want to talk about is Kris and Kim. Because, and we've seen this from Kris before, taking control of everything. And she tries to take control of Kim's wedding a little bit too much.
Right.
First things first, and I hate to have to say this, to criticize like this because it's superficial and it's shallow, but Kris looked different, I'll say, in this episode than she has in the past. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. She didn't look as done up. She looked like,
older.
Like a normal person would her age.
I think she's a nervous wreck because she's out of control. And I don't mean crazy out of control. I mean just she doesn't have control of a lot of situations. And I think she needs to be in control at all times.
100% agree.
She likes things that are oversized and dramatic.
Of course she does.
So if it's not oversized and dramatic.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't in that family like things that are oversized and dramatic, though? Besides Bruce.
Exactly. That's what Bruce said.
Yeah.
But, okay, aside from her appearance, which I know is a shallow thing anyways, and maybe it's not a fair criticism, but I think it was a very notable difference from the last few episodes. She definitely looked different. Whether the producers made that decision because, Jessie, what you're talking about, she's out of control, so let's make her look a little more disheveled. Whether that was a producer decision or her thing or whatever, who knows. But she definitely looked different. Let's get to this issue with her and Kim, though, in this wedding, and Kris wanting to do something. I fall on both sides of the fence with this. The first one, well, I guess there's three ways. The first one is cynical. This is Kim's 15th wedding. She's done this before. It's not as special. The big way, though, is, come on, let's be honest. She's been married before.
And especially since her last one, they did go so overboard with that one.
Overboard. And Kim was Kris was a big part of the Humphrey wedding, so you can continue, but it'll relate to that. She needs to chill.
My two things are this. Kanye is very finicky, as we know. So him and Kim are going to have very strong viewpoints themselves. So Kris doesn't have a whole lot of room to put her viewpoint in. You got two strong personalities already.
Well, Kim, from the beginning of this whole wedding planning process, was very open about, she didn't say I've been through this, but she was like, okay, I'm gonna let Kanye take the reins on this one. It's all up to him. And obviously he does have that creative vision for whatever he wants his wedding to be like. And I feel like she is totally on board with whatever he wants to do, totally giving him the reins. And that's, even just following her on Instagram, I knew that when this was happening. So, but as her mother, Kris obviously wants to be involved. I can imagine my mom will be the same way, and she was with my sister's wedding. So it's just part of it.
It'll work out for you one day, Sterling. I just know.
One day. Fingers crossed. Hold my breath.
Until then, you just keep going to Beyonce and Kanye concerts and something will work out.
Exactly.
And that's the other side of the fence that I fall on with this. As much as I have sympathy and support for Kim for wanting to do it her way, there are very few days where you can selfishly be like, this is my day. I feel like a wedding is that day. That is your day. Right. It should be your day. Let it be your day. On the other hand, though, I do feel kind of bad for Kris because, yes, she wants to control stuff like you're talking about, Jessie, because that's the way she is. But she also does want to do sweet stuff for her daughter because it means a lot.
Totally.
And you have to, on some level, let Kris get involved, whether it's that little dinner or whatever it is. Let her do something. And like Kim says, throw her a bone.
Yeah.
Give her something.
What's interesting about this wedding planning process is that usually it's you don't want everyone around the bride and groom don't want the bride and groom to have to stress about everything. They don't want them planning everything. They want them to have a completely go with the flow, relaxed day. But this is kind of reverse where Kim's like, I don't want you to stress about anything. All my guests, it's all taken care of. Don't worry about anything. When really usually in real life it's the other way around. So that was interesting to me.
How do you think it would be like, I've always wondered if like Kim and Kanye were like planning something, and I know you said that she's given Kanye like free reign, so she'd probably be more openly about it, but as far as any other thing, like I'm sure they have to disagree since like you said, they're very strong opinionated people, and so I mean, who do you think would win on that? Who do you think wears the pants in that?
That's a great question, Jessie, and initially I would say, well, Kanye, because he's got a very strong personality. But two things. Kim also is a very strong personality, and Kanye has worshipped her for a long time. And it's worship, not like total weird worship, but he has coveted her for a lot longer than they've been dating and has been public about that. So I think even though she's given him reign to plan the wedding, and who knows why that's true, I think he defers to her a lot. And I think if Kanye were just such a strong-willed personality and it was all about Kanye, she wouldn't even appear on the show. She would not be on the show. We know North isn't on the show. I think he would get her off immediately. But I think because of how he feels about her, things like that he defers to her about and lets her do her decisions and trusts her because he really has worshipped her.
Yeah. And I think it goes both ways. I think that, I mean this in the best way possible. I think Kim worships the ground Kanye walks on. She's thinking about making him a selfie book when they're in Thailand. Right. She's thinking, oh, well, I can't make any decision without passing it through him. I need to talk to him about this. I need to talk to him. And I think that's great. I think it's awesome that a couple has, that much sway over each other, whatever. But I think it's very obvious that she definitely is not like obsessed with him, but like really wants to do what he wants to do. And I mean that in a really good way. I don't mean that in like in a bad way.
Yeah, no, I think as weird as we probably think their relationship is, and when you're that famous and that rich, your relationship's going to be different than a normal person's relationship anyway, so it will be a little weird. But as weird as we may or may not think it is, there's really no indication so far that there's anything seriously wrong with it. There's nothing that's ever been given us the indication that it is weird. So if we take it at face value like that.
To me, they seem like a match made in heaven, but that's just, an outsider's perspective.
Oh, yeah, I thought, like, from the beginning when he would be on, like, previous episodes, like, when they would hang out and just be friends, I always thought that they should date. Because, I mean, they're both, like, I don't mean this in a mean way. They're both like self-centered people. Yeah. And they belong together.
I think they have the same goals.
Same goals, self-centered, both entertainers, say what you will, both very A-list level, whatever. And you got to be, Kris Humphries, God love him, I like the guy. Not an A-list, not a celebrity, didn't want that life. So he couldn't relate to Kim on that, and Kanye absolutely can.
Right.
So what do we think about Kim moving out of Kris's house for 2 days?
Dramatic.
Yeah.
I love how when she came to apologize afterwards, she's like, I'm sorry I was being dramatic, but I think you're being dramatic. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Those are the best apologies.
We were both being dramatic. But sometimes you need your space. I think it's understandable.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, they're living in there, and there was that issue, earlier in the season where it's like, Kim's here all the time, you know what I mean? Taking over the whole house and everything like that. And then it went from another extreme to Kris being like, no, don't leave. But yeah, it was a little dramatic, but sometimes you do just need a break, get away. So she had a little mini vacay at
But she went to go live with her sister. It's like, you need to get out on your own, girl. Like, you're 30-something years old. I mean, I understand that times are hard, but stop putting so much into that house and live in that house and enjoy that big, huge house that you have created and not just let it go to waste.
I've always wondered, Calabasas or whatever house they end up doing in, because this house did kind of go to waste and they sold it or whatever.
Right.
Is Kanye going to be happy in Calabasas? I know they have other places. I know they're going to go elsewhere. But if Calabasas is the main draw, is Kanye going to be happy there?
Maybe that's the only place he can have a helicopter that'll take him wherever he needs to go.
Scott went down that road. It didn't work out. But Scott is no Kanye.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Let the Lord be with you, but the Lord is not easy.
I mean, I don't know their, personal life, but I think that it would actually probably be a nice little retreat for Kanye as well.
I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Calabasas is boring, suburban.
But it's like technically still LA, and when you have people to drive you around, it doesn't really matter.
And who knows how much he's going to be home anyways.
Well, true. And then also, he is, I think he is a good family man. He, with North and everything like that. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a good place for them to be.
All the other celebrities are there. Makes sense.
All of them, just Courtney, Khloe.
I'm moving in next
Well,
week.
there's a lot of
Kendall.
people in Calabasas with
Yeah.
a lot of money.
And like, honestly, Calabasas isn't that far, really. Like, they say on the episode, oh, it's so far. Like, nobody wants to go visit Bruce or whatever because it's so far. But, like, I kind of live near Calabasas, and it's not that far.
It's in Ventura County, right? It's a separate county.
I don't think it's that
I think
far.
it is.
It's
It's just a one exit up from where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Calabasas, Malibu area, like where
Yeah.
Malibu is. That's
It's
like
just over the
Malibu.
hill from Malibu. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. There's a geography lesson this
Yeah.
week on Keeping
I
Up
don't
with the
know.
Kardashians. Last point about Kris and Kim. You can see them fighting like, best friends, mother and daughter, sisters almost. And Kris has kind of a sisterly relationship with all of the girls in a way, which I think at times is good and at times is bad. And we've talked about that. And that is, how do I put this? When Kris disinvited herself from the wedding, and then Kim learned she was disinvited and was like, no, you're reinvited and whatever. A whole lot of drama came out of nothing. It gets resolved, of course, because it's the Kardashians. But at least something gets resolved, and at least they talk about their problems face to face relatively immediately after these 2 days of silence, instead of letting it stew and fester and stew and fester. Because we're going to see in a minute, Kris and Khloe don't have that same quick resolution.
I don't think it was that big of a fight. I think they just needed their space. I think it was kind of like a joke for both of them, because Kris was even said, I'm not going to deal with these shenanigans. Like, it's obviously not that big of a deal.
Shenanigans is a big word for this family.
Eat at shenanigans.
Oh, Lord, I'm not doing that. We have speaking of Kris, we got a lot more to talk about Kris and a relationship that maybe didn't start off on such a good note. But before we do that, we got to take a quick break, guys. So stick with us through this.
My name is Yvonne Saravia, and I am a home health aide. My credit score was very high. It was like 700 something. Then I had like a hiccup in my finances. Everything just crashed. But I don't crawl under a rock and cry. It takes baby steps to get back. So that's what I am doing.
With American Express Serve, you have a full-service prepaid account that helps you handle your money simply and affordably. There's no credit check. You can pay your bills online and reload cash for free at over 27,000 locations. All for $1 a month, and all backed by the 24/7 service of American Express. This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
Get started with an American Express Serve card at CVS Pharmacy or Family Dollar today. Terms and restrictions apply. Go to serve.com for more details.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you very much for sitting with us through that on Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show here on AfterBuzzTV.com. And let's talk more Kris and a little bit of Khloe, because as much as, I know, that's the word to describe it, a little bit of fire. And on this particular one, not knowing all the facts, but knowing what we've seen, I've got to be on Team Khloe in this argument about Kris being a momager of maybe not as much focus on Khloe as she should be.
I agree with you, but I think that she should have handled it a little bit better, especially since it was Mother's Day. I mean, come on, girl. Like, it's your mom's day.
Time and a place, Khloe. Time and a place.
The thing about this episode that was most obvious to me is that we go from Kris being overly anxious to be involved with Kim's life and then not being involved with any part of Khloe's life whatsoever. That it seemed how they set it up on the thing, and from Khloe's perspective, she's not dealing with the details of her personal and professional life, and then she's like, she has time to call Kourtney's house a million times to talk to Kim, but she doesn't have time to go over Khloe's interview questions. Yeah, so I mean, that's no surprise to anyone that she puts more energy into Kim, but this episode specifically, they did that juxtaposition there. They put it side by side, and I was just like, wow, Khloe does get the short end of the stick all the time.
Yeah, Kris wasn't even interested whenever Khloe was trying to like actually have Kris's input in the house, whereas Kim doesn't even want Kris's input, but Kris is fighting to have Kim's, you know, she wants to give her opinions and not Khloe. I just thought it was really rude that she was sitting there eating and just not even paying attention.
Yeah, and they definitely portrayed it that way. Who knows, you know, how much she was not really involved. But, you know, we always see Khloe wrestling, and this one, she wasn't wrestling. She got all her anger out verbally, and I think sometimes, you know, you just get to a boiling point, especially because she is still going through so much with Lamar. And, you know, like she said, that interview that she was supposed to do was a straw that broke the camel's back, because the first question they wanted to ask was about marriage, and that's just embarrassing when you're still going through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. And I think it really spoke to Khloe's character when she is cooking the entire Mother's Day meal.
Right.
And she does have all of these issues with Kris. She was able to put those aside, but still have those issues. But then when it comes up, she gets an email or whatever it is, it's kind of, like she said, the straw that broke the camel's back. So, you know, when you have all that pent-up anger, I think she was trying to put it to the side for Mother's Day, but then just kind of all came out.
I feel like a lot of holidays kind of go down like that, though, sometimes. You know, you just get everyone
family.
Yeah, it's like I remember my dad walked out on my birthday dinner because he realized I had my nose pierced, and I had it pierced for like a year before he even realized.
All comes to a head at the family reunions.
It's always something like that. It's
cute.
natural.
Now
He's probably over it, isn't he?
Well, I mean, it's gone now, but
so he won.
Well, no, it got infected, so I had to take it out.
So he won.
A couple years later.
Here's my big question for you guys on this one, and maybe it's a little too deep, but I'd be interested to hear your responses. Kris, we know, focuses on Kim more than anyone. Not only is Kim the A-lister, the moneymaker, the biggest one, the first celebrity, etc., etc. Is there any idea, any just tiny little sliver, that maybe Kris sees in Kim what Kris wishes she would have been, and is then pushing that and projecting that onto Kim specifically? Sort of like a pageant mom with a little kid in a way.
I mean, I feel like as a mom, you always want your kids... I'm not a mom, excuse me.
As a mom.
I would think as a mom.
If I were a mom.
If I were. You would want your kids to all, you know, have the opportunities that you'd never had, especially when they're more accessible due to, you know, their status. So I definitely think that not necessarily it's something that she wishes she could do, but she knows that there's more opportunities. Here's a chance for them to do it. But one more thing about, you know, how she was more involved with Kim versus Khloe. I mean, it must be so tough. You have 3 daughters that are really in the spotlight. Well, actually you have...
And 2 more coming.
You
got
have 5,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But... how do you, being their mom and, you know, like a momager, how do you manage that time? Like, that's just too much.
That's got to be so tough. But again, I mean this in the best way possible. Kim is the workhorse of this family. Like, Kim's getting the cover of Vogue. Kourtney may or may not be getting a book deal. Like, it's just like, when you compare it, it's like, what's best for our family name, and that's pushing Kim up. But like at the same time, she even said this kind of stood out to me, is when Kris is talking to Khloe, and she said, well, you were asking me to get these Instagram interviews that we were going, like an Instagram interview, really? Like, so Khloe's asking her to get these things, which she should be getting. She's equally, you know, entitled to that as, you know, getting those things from her manager. But it's just like the level of publicity that she gets versus what Kim gets. And Kim, like, you don't have to work as hard for Kim because she has established her name. So I don't know.
I would be very interested to see what the actual work hierarchy is in the family in terms of, I know that Kris alone does not manage all 5 girls.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be interested to see what assistant managers, what assistants, what sub-levels there are, and who manages who, just because I would find it interesting to see how many people work for Kim specifically, how many people work for whatever.
Well, they have their publicists. Kim probably has more than one publicist. They have their agent. They have their person who does, you know, make sure that all their wardrobe's taken care of. They have all their, like, it's definitely divided between them, but I feel like Kim definitely has more support under her as opposed to Khloe and Kourtney and Kendall and Kylie. And Rob doesn't have anyone.
Is Jonathan one of Kim's publicists? Because I know that him and that other guy that I was talking, Simon, that's his name. They were in like a publicity
Jonathan
company.
is a publicist. Well, he works in PR, but I think they worked together in the past, but they're just best friends is what they call each other.
God bless Jonathan. As we say in the South, bless his heart.
He and then when they were all in the kitchen, he kind of looked like Bruce to me a little bit.
But you know, Bruce has that look where anybody who's around Bruce too long starts looking like Bruce.
Oh, God.
Bruce looks like a lot of things. He's molding all the time.
He's morphing.
He looks like a lot of things.
He's morphing all the time. May or may not be because of surgeries.
Is it wrong of me to say that I want Bruce to go on that new TV show Botched?
Oh God. Yes, that's wrong, Jessie.
No, I
That's
want
wrong.
because he took a lot of publicity for this. You remember when he used to be really good looking, and then he got all that surgery, and the surgery went wrong, and he knows it went wrong because he had surgery on previous episodes to get it fixed.
He was just trying to avoid the aging process. You know,
when he got it done.
Listen, and not to get too far off topic because Bruce had 2 lines in the show, but here's the thing: when you were that great of an athlete, you're that great of an Olympian. There's got to be a drive to want to stay that way forever, or at least have people remember you that way. And I can understand the pressure to want to be remembered that way. And it's got to be sad to age. Yes, aging is part of life, and we all deal with it. But he didn't live a normal life, so you kind of want to stay that way. And it's a little sad to see that from him, surgery-wise.
Yeah.
Speaking about changing and looking, I love Scott's quote when his butt was out, and he said, "I'm finally a Kardashian."
Yeah, that was the best part of the episode.
Quote
if you ask
of
me.
the year on the Kardashians. Absolutely. Scott coming up with some funny stuff.
Even when he's just like
in the background,
and the captions say like Scott mumbling or like Scott doing something. Like, but he knew exactly where Kendall was going. He knew exactly that. He knows what's going on.
He's
just
being
kind
a
of
total smartass about it.
Yeah, I love it.
I want to know how his mobile van is going. Did that thing just
He got rid of it, remember?
Like completely got
Courtney
rid of that
got rid
stuff?
of it.
Oh, I know that in that episode. I wonder if it stuck. I wonder if he doesn't have another little mobile situation.
I think that was just for the show.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean,
let the Lord be with you guys.
And also with you.
Also with you.
Frankie with the line of the night here on AfterBuzz. Let's transition topics to our third topic of the episode because we got a lot of news and gossip to get to, and that is our boy French Montana.
French Montese.
As I put on the board, French Montese. Why not? Everybody's got a name. You got Yeezy, you got French Montese.
He's not comparable.
Hold on now. First and foremost, we've seen French Montana on the show, technically on the episode for 5 lines yelling in the club. What do we think of him so far? Do we get a good vibe off him initially? Before we get to the Lamar situation, did you guys get a good vibe off him?
You're always going to get a good vibe off of him when you first meet him because he's being Prince Charming right now. That's Lamar. Lamar was being Prince Charming on the TV show. We all loved Khloe and Lamar. Nobody really knew what was going on. So I give it, it's been a few months because this episode is like obviously old from real life.
That's what I was going to say. It's kind of hard to say because we've seen him around for so long and like the press and everything. So,
but you keep hearing that she's pregnant with his kid. So I don't know.
You
never know.
We do keep hearing?
Yeah, I keep reading it online that it's alleged that she's pregnant.
Oh,
that means it's not
alleged,
true.
yeah.
You never know.
Listen, it's alleged I've got like 20 girlfriends and $1 million in the bank, okay?
Is it?
It's alleged.
Listen, I like French Montana, and Pop That's been my song for like 2.5 years now.
What you twerking
or 2
with?
years. Like, it was the jam of 2012 summertime, and it's still my jam.
Yeah.
So I like
She
them.
listens to it in her car every day.
Could you do the dance again real quick, Frankie?
No.
Oh. It's something to do with the arms here, and it was like...
What you twerking with?
Okay, well, Sterling got it for us.
Anyway, enough about me.
Let's talk Khloe living a double life. Or, okay, first off, Kim and Kourtney are being very nosy. I know part of that's drumming up the show for producers and stuff. Another part of that is just the way they are. And that's how sisters are.
Sisters, yeah.
It's a sister thing.
I can see why Khloe's being very low-key about it, though. She's still married.
Yeah.
She needs to be low-key. She doesn't need to, even though it's just her sister and it's family, you're supposed to tell family stuff. There is a time, she will eventually, but right now she's playing it safe.
Yeah, especially because since you are so in the spotlight, you don't want to give so much away and have people assuming this and this when she even said she doesn't know what's going on herself, you know, at this point.
And the last thing you need when you're trying to branch out is someone judging you. And she said it herself that they're very judgmental. So kind of just want to do your own thing.
She said, shocker.
They are very judgmental. So doing her own thing, now that we've seen a little bit of French Montana and Khloe with her new entourage, with her new group of friends or whatever, is doing her own thing with where she is at right now with the divorce and stuff, is what she's doing healthy? Should she be doing exactly what she's doing? Should she be alone? Is this too quick with French Montana?
No.
I think if French Montana is a healthy support system for her, then I think she should go for it. And if she feels comfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
with
Lamar didn't have any problems moving on, especially when they were still married.
Touche. Jessie's got some quick comebacks tonight.
I feel like Khloe gave up a lot of time that she could have spent having fun dealing with all of Lamar's issues. So now it's kind of like her chance to have that with a group of people that she feels comfortable with. And if this is that group, then that's awesome for her.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Kim at least approved of all of French Montana's friends. Now, when you meet them in the club and you're yelling at each other, you can't really get the best thing. But if Kim approves to start, Kim's maybe a real tough gatekeeper. So if Kim approves.
Yeah, I get Khloe and Kim being not concerned. Well, obviously, from like as your sister, you want to make sure that you want
Kourtney and Kim.
Yeah, Kourtney and Kim. You want to make sure that you're like protecting your sister and all of that. But from a business perspective, you want to know who she's dating because that name that she's dating is going to be associated with your name. It's going to be associated with your family name. And so, from a PR business perspective, I can see why they'd be nosy.
Like the girl we will not name who used to date Rob Kardashian.
Exactly.
Yeah, same thing what you're talking
exactly.
about.
Same thing, yeah.
Doesn't deserve her name being mentioned on this show. Not that we're the biggest deal.
I don't even remember her name.
But we're not going to mention her name. I actually don't know if I do either.
Anyway, I like Kim saying that she's half Kourtney nowadays.
And Jonathan says, if you're 3/4 Kourtney, you lose me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that, like, when they were at the club, like, Kim had to throw out there, like, that her daughter was sleeping and, like, all that. It's like, okay, no one's judging you for going out just because you're a parent. There are plenty of parents that like to have a night away from your child. Like, it's okay, girl. You're not going to be judged or labeled a bad parent.
Hey, listen, she has to get up. Her daughter gets up at, what'd she say,
7:30.
7 a.m., and I got to work out before then, and it's 12:15, okay?
7 a.m. is not bad because I know some of my friends' kids get up at 5 a.m. So 7 a.m., you're doing good, girl.
Yeah, but she has to wake up to work out. Waking up that early to work out, yeah, you need
Waking
your,
up that
you need your
early in
beauty
general.
sleep. Yeah.
But whenever, I mean, she's got a great body, and I'm sure whenever you start seeing those results, like, I hate working out because I don't really ever see results, but she has results. So, like, you know, like, to wake up and, like, and I'm sure working out makes you feel really good because every time I've attempted it, it's felt really good.
Every time I've attempted it.
Working out in the morning is the best, but yeah, if you got to wake up, you know you have to wake up and work out and get up early. I'd be grandma in the car sleeping too. I've
got a personal rule, and I know that Khloe right now may be living by the same rule. You don't get up before noon unless it's to catch a plane. Am I right?
Hey.
Wow, nothing.
Well,
Marissa agrees over
that
there.
would be true, but my dogs wake me up about 10.
I know, I'm teasing you guys. Okay, last thing on this topic. Well, maybe not last.
Wait,
I'll leave
no.
it up to you guys. But last thing on this topic is... you all right?
No! I thought we were already going to do the gossip. I was like, no!
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Can I... Did you want to, like, interject again?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Last thing on this topic, Frankie, is this. Kim, the entire episode, Kim and Kourtney are both being nosy, and Khloe's annoyed, and Khloe's annoyed, and Khloe's annoyed. But at the end, Kim's nosiness pays off for that sisterly bond because Khloe needed Kim there that night at the club to kind of diffuse this Lamar situation, which obviously was a lucky thing that happened, and you couldn't have predicted that either way. But good on Khloe for being there, or good on Kim for being there, and good on Khloe for realizing she needed her. And that resolves that situation, I think, completely, as opposed to just a talk.
But you know how awkward that was for Khloe? Like, you know, okay, I don't know if this has ever happened for you, but like whenever you see your ex and you like, you know you're not supposed to talk to him, but you really want to go talk to him kind of deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that was really hard for her and really awkward.
Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say it's probably really awkward for him too because he's like, oh, that's her husband.
I feel like he, I mean, everyone, we saw them in the media the whole time. He knew when he was going there that she would probably be there.
You're talking about Lamar.
Yeah. I think Jessie was talking about French Montana feeling awkward, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Totally misunderstood.
Lamar totally went there knowing that Khloe was going to be there.
He went there for a rumble.
Which is, I don't know if he went there for a rumble, but that's the question. What are you thinking, Lamar?
Yeah, it was. But you know, what I was going to say was both Khloe and Lamar, you know, especially for Khloe, I don't feel like there was closure. I don't really think there still is a definite closure just because he disappears for so long and she doesn't really get to talk to him. So like you said, yeah, I would want to, you know, not like you said, you feel like you might want to talk to him just because it's not closed. You don't know what to do, because if you had processed all that and gone through it and now you're over it, you wouldn't care. So
right. And I mean, they're still married. Like, I mean,
at that point, yeah,
you've been married to this person. You're always gonna love this person and have feelings for him, and like, I guess things didn't work out the way she had planned, and I think for a long time she had hope, and so I think she still like doesn't have hope, but she like wishes it would have been different.
Well, yeah, she obviously wishes it would have been different, but I think that she just still really cares about Lamar and just wants him to be better, I think, for himself. So,
which is true love, right? If you can't love the person, or if you're not able to be together, or if he does something wrong that you have to end that relationship like he did, you still care about the guy so much you want him to be happy at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And it's to a much smaller extent. That's her same attitude of letting him in the club. Don't deny him in the club. Let him in. I'm not going to embarrass him like that. That's not worth it. We're not going to cause a situation.
Yeah, it was mature.
She
handled it very maturely.
Exactly, which is exactly what you should do. It's a bigger situation if you don't let him in. Let him in. Don't embarrass him. Yeah, he's got his problems, but that's something he and we are going to work out privately.
And he didn't cause any problems inside. He left on his own, the whole thing. So
well, they didn't let him in.
They didn't let him in.
They didn't let him in?
Really?
No, I think they did.
No,
She said he left.
No, they didn't let him in. The club would not let him in because they didn't want like drama at the club. Because I guarantee you, if he would have gotten in, he probably would have walked up to French Montana and started mouthing some stuff.
I doubt
only
that.
because the fact they're still married.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think
he's been stepping out on the marriage himself.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, he didn't get caught. Well, he did get caught, but not by her. Does that make sense?
Wasn't
Like,
there a
she's
scene
there.
where she was like, "Oh, he left" or something in the club, and someone told her that she left.
Either way, even if the doorman at the club didn't let him in, it was not her decision.
Yeah.
She was cool with letting him in. She didn't want that situation.
And he
to
didn't
happen.
make a big scene when he left either. So I don't think he would have caused any issues inside, but he might have come up and said something, but not said something in a mean way. Just been like, "Oh, hey," and that I know that would have just really done something to Khloe. So I think it's good that he didn't go in.
I'm not defending Lamar by any means, but I'm sure he's really hurt too, because I mean he's realizing he screwed up, like really big time.
He lost, coming from where he came from with his background, with his dad's issues, going where he's going now with what's been going on recently. You could argue in a lot of ways Khloe's the best thing that's ever happened to him. At least off the basketball court in a relationship way. We don't know his whole story, but it sure seems like that. So this is a guy who realized how bad he messed up. And he's not going to get it back. And he shouldn't get it back, and he doesn't deserve to get it back. But it's got to be a heart dropper to realize what you lost if you're Lamar.
Exactly.
So you have to feel for a guy like that. All right, girls, we got a lot to talk about. So why don't we move on to news and gossip?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Sterling, because you were in Stir Francisco, that's what we're calling San Francisco now.
Okay.
Maybe just me.
Wait.
We want you to start with news. We have a fun picture.
Okay. Is it up? Well, it's of little baby Northwest, and she made her modeling debut. And as time says, she was dripping in Chanel. Look at her just looking off into the distance. She gets it from her mama.
Classic.
Yeah,
she's literally one of the cutest babies.
She's adorable.
Yeah. So when this news broke, I saw it on Twitter. The LA Times tweeted about it, and it was like an official, like it was under CNN, like all this stuff, and it was just like Northwest drips in Chanel, and this whole thing. I was just like, that's crazy. So it was part of this CR fashion book, and yeah, so she's starting early.
I think she's super, super cute, but I just really hope she doesn't turn out to be a little brat when she grows up. Like, I really hope she's genuine and, like, uses her fame and success. I guess maybe she'll be a baby model. I don't know, but
she's going to live a very sheltered life.
I'm going to say what your face is thinking. There's no way she couldn't be a brat when she grows up.
Yeah.
She's destined to do this. Her parents, her lifestyle, the money. It's going to be very difficult to be, quote-unquote, real, because that's not a real life.
Yeah, but haven't you ever heard, like, for example, this is a bad example, but it's the only one that came to my head, like Prince William? Like, he's not a bastard.
How do you know?
He's nice. Like, because look at all the charity and stuff he does. And
well, charity's different from being nice and mean. You get a lot of money, you can do a lot of things.
But just, well, from what, I don't know him personally, but from the publicity, you know, it just seems like he is a good, genuine person.
I mean, his PR agent's doing his job.
He married an ordinary girl.
Oh, you're buying into the narrative, Jessie. Here we go. This is how it starts. You're buying into the narrative, and then people like you are making us care about English British royalty here in America. That was
the only thing that came to my head. I couldn't think of another example.
Okay.
But yeah. So maybe she'll be a sweet thing and be all nice.
I hope she is.
Sweet
She looks
thing.
like a sweet thing. She is adorable. Let's get to your news and gossip, Miss Owen.
Okay, I got 2 things to talk about. So previously we had talked about Kim's app or whatever. It's the Kim Kardashian Hollywood app, and it is number 5 on the Apple's top grossing chart, and it garnered over 40,000 5-star reviews. And it says that this game not only provides entertainment, but it's also it welcomes some respite. And it says it's almost like living a parallel life. But here's the twist. There's been a lot of complaints because the app is free, but kids are going on there and their parents' credit cards are linked into their iPhone, and you can buy like clothes and material goods and stuff like that for the game's virtual world, but it costs money.
Yeah.
So all these kids are racking up all these bills, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And Kim, went on the Today Show, and she said, you just have to make sure that your parental controls are all set. I just think that you have to be responsible and don't have your credit card linked to where your kid can just spend it if they want.
There's
I mean,
Kim.
but that's with all sorts of games like Candy Crush and all that. Little kids, like my little cousin ended up buying some things one time playing. It is true. If you're gonna let your kids play with technology when they shouldn't be playing with
That's the whole
technology.
point of an app. Even like photo editing ones are like, you want to upgrade for 99 cents? Like,
And
that's the
you're
whole
like, damn it,
point.
okay,
And
fine.
it's funny because my mom called me the other day and she was like, Sterling, do you know who I saw in the business section of the New York Times? And I was like, no, I have no idea. And she was like, Kim Kardashian. I was just like, well, Mom, like, they're seriously like the best business people in the world. So
In the
like,
whole world.
in the whole world. Well, they know how to make money. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. And that's the point of the New York Times business section. She was like, yeah, her picture was just right on the cover of it. I was like, wow.
So that's another cover photo shoot that she did in the New York Times business section.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and it was for the app. They were covering the app.
Yeah. I on Twitter, one of my friends was like, God, this is so hard, like it's so much time following her around, taking pictures of Kim. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, the app. I'm like, oh my God, like I know people who actually play this that are my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow.
Well, they said that Kylie like begs her for there's like ways that you can like get to the highest level and be an A-lister automatically or something like that.
Yeah, you can get like popularity points and become like the biggest like
exhausting.
socialite and stuff.
I just like Candy Crush.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play Candy Crush.
All right, Jessie, what else you got?
Okay, so this is a little fun thing, and I'm very excited. So Burger King, y'all, they got the chicken fries back. And the Lord, Scott Disick, he went to Burger King and he purchased $205.28 in chicken fries alone. And he put, thank the Lord, and then he put at Burger King, so I guess that was a publicity thing for him.
It's 100% a sponsored ad.
But it says hashtag chicken fries are back. And yes, they are.
And you're playing right into this
And that's
narrative.
exactly what they want you to do.
Exactly what they
and they
want
want
you to
us
do.
to
I'm sorry,
talk about
I
it
don't-
right now. You're
I
welcome, Burger King,
I have
for
not
that.
eaten Burger King since the chicken fries left. That's the only reason why I went to Burger King.
Burger King's onion rings are my favorite.
And
All right,
Burger
girls.
King loves us right now for talking about it for so
How
long.
much are they paying you? I'll double it.
They're
paying me
giving
in
me some
onion
free
rings.
chicken fries tonight.
All right, let's move on with news. 2 things. The first one, we got another Scott pick. We got Scott and Khloe hosting a big party earlier today. They just hosted it today at Foxwoods Resort and Casinos. I had to look that up. It is in Connecticut. Instagram picture is shown. Is this a good idea for Courtney's husband, Scott, to do when she's pregnant, when we know he has issues with this sort of stuff, and it's been discussed on the show and off the show, and he's having some party problems lately? Should he be hosting parties? I know you show up for a half hour, you get paid a few $1,000s, whatever that is, but should he really be in this scene right now?
I think it's great that Chloe's there at least. At least he's not doing it by himself and he has someone to support him if things, to, first of all, keep him from doing things he shouldn't do, but to keep him in line. And it's nice that, and they're so close, so she can kind of keep him in check.
I don't know. I still think it's really awkward that, after all the rumors and stuff that's going around about them, that they're doing an event together, which is fine. Maybe they want to, maybe that's why they're doing the event together, because there's been so much talk about them, and that would just give them more publicity and get more people to come.
And they've been filming for Royal Pains. I've been seeing that all over their Instagram, so I feel like this could be a publicity thing for that.
I mean, work's work. So
Yeah.
a lot of it is So I don't really feel there's anything wrong. Now, if he's going out on his own and partying all the time, then that's a different story. But he's getting paid.
He's had problems several seasons ago in the past with doing promotion things like this and getting drunk and doing this situation. And here he is. He finds himself in this situation once again. And baby number 3 is on the way now.
And well, I guess we'll figure that out. We'll see all the drama next week with that.
Yeah, we will see some drama next week.
It doesn't seem like he's happy about it, though.
Happy about the baby?
FYI.
Oh, yeah, Lord. No, that'll be interesting to talk about next week. Last piece of news, guys. Rob, our buddy, we haven't talked about him in a few weeks, emailed Kim allegedly about skipping out on the wedding. Kim was on Watch What Happens Live, which is Bravo's greatest show ever. I'm a straight male. I can still say that and be comfortable. Andy Cohen, that show is just perfect. It's so shenanigan-y. I love it. But Kim was on it the other night on Tuesday night, and she discussed Rob leaving the wedding early, and she said, quote, to Andy, "He sent me a long email the morning of that he was going to leave. There was no fight. I just thought, you know what? This is my day. I'm not even going to worry about it. I totally understand that he wouldn't want to see a lot of people if he was feeling uncomfortable, and you can only pray and wish that someone would not miss out on more memories in life because life is about memories."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that going on in the news, and a lot of people, of course, were criticizing Kim, saying she's too, like, what was it the last time? Tough love or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, at that point, if they're going to leave, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
You can't make a big deal about it. It's your day. You want to less. It's so stressful enough. Not that I've been married. But, from what I hear from my friends. Yeah. No, from my friends getting married and stuff, it's just really, really stressful, even if other people are planning everything, So
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Well,
she's kind of planning everything. Well, I mean, she has people to help her, but, I mean, she's not just sitting back and relaxing. I mean, she's doing a lot of work too.
My only concern with Kim, and this has been discussed again and again with Rob, with tough love, is sometimes tough love doesn't work, and sometimes you just need to show empathy. And I know that, I'm sure off, the cameras and away from the press, she shows probably a different side than she does on TV for whatever reason maybe. But there's no empathy here when she says, you know what, this is my day, I'm not even going to worry about it. I understand it's her day, and I totally agree with you guys, but how can you be the sister to this guy who's very clearly struggling and you say, I'm not even going to worry about it?
How, and playing devil's advocate, how can you be the brother and, Kim's
totally
been
agree.
Married twice before, but skip out on a day like that?
Totally agree.
If I did that to my
Rob's right.
sister, she would never talk to me again.
I'm not saying Rob's right, but I am saying for Rob to do something that serious, Kim would have to take a half second and say, wait a minute, there's something so big going on, I maybe need to change my tactic.
But also at the same time too, just thinking this, they might know what he's really going on, and they just don't want to bring it out publicly.
For sure.
So they're just gonna say things to keep, I don't know, I'm not gonna question it, let it go, because they are protecting him.
For sure.
And even in this episode we watched tonight, they weren't sure if he would come. Courtney asked Khloe, do you think he's going to go to the wedding? And they didn't know. So it's not like it was a huge shock for him to leave. It was maybe they're like, oh, he's here. So they're still talking about, they've been unsure the whole time whether or not he was going to go. Maybe he decided last minute, I've done the pre-festivities. I don't want to, deal with the big hoorah.
I also think in Kim's defense that she probably just, she already has so much stuff going on that she has to worry about, plan. She doesn't have time to worry about who's going to show up. Like, I don't think she really cares.
And
this is about her and Kanye.
They also had a lot of problems with people not showing up and coming because they had done the seating arrangements where they engraved the names in marble, and then a lot of people on the table that they had marble tables or something, and they engraved the names, and a lot of people didn't show up, so it messed up their whole seating chart. So I think at that point it was another person not coming.
That's crazy.
Yeah, why would you do that? That's such a waste of money.
Well, when you got that much money, I think I read somewhere, and I could be wrong about the exact number, but I read recently, it was either the Daily Beast or somewhere else, that said estimated Kim and Kanye together took in almost $50 million this past year. So when you got that kind of money,
what's a little engraving in the marble?
Do your thing. I think we've all been there, right? What's a little engraving in the marble? All right, let's go to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I predict Frankie's hungry.
I'm not actually.
Are you serious? You're always hungry.
I know.
I'm hungry.
Talking
about chicken fries.
But in my defense, all I've eaten today is popcorn.
Well, chicken fries are on your menu, Jessie. I predict that. Sterling, what do you want to predict about the show this week?
Can we not start with me?
No, we have to start with you.
No.
Coming back from vacation,
you
you're going to take a week off. You're going to get started with first.
Predicting for next week?
Yeah, or you know how we do this.
Well,
is this your first AfterBuzz show?
When have we had a real prediction about this show? It's still, I don't think, I predict that Kourtney's pregnant and they're all going to love it.
No.
Scott does not love it.
What do you think they're going to name? Wait, have they?
Is it a boy or a girl? I think it's a boy. Isn't it a boy?
Let's predict names.
I thought I heard that.
Okay, I predict the name is going to be...
Don't keep us waiting.
Hold on. I can't think about it.
Predict the name might be after Scott's parents in some way.
Okay.
Great
That's a good one.
That'd be cool.
I predict that Kim's going to be pregnant soon, and that's going to come out. And I predict that Khloe and French Montana are going to break up.
Interesting. I'll give you one. I think Kourtney and Scott, I don't know if they will break up because of the kids, but they're going to have I think, coming to a head here, a much more serious problem than they've ever had before. Scott, when he was younger, when they were younger, before they had kids, and then when they just had Mason, he dealt with his issues. Now this is baby number 3. Those issues in the past, and they've kind of started to come back up. And I predict in real time, not showtime, in real time moving forward, those issues are going to keep coming up. They're going to get worse. Kourtney's going to have a huge problem with that, and there's going to be some type of huge blowout in that family situation. Does he leave? God, I hope not. That's 3 kids. I hope they stay together and find a way to make it work. But I think this will be more serious than we've ever seen it before.
Yeah. I don't think that... I think that Kourtney and Scott will get through this. They'll make it work. Kourtney and Khloe, they wrapped the Hamptons today. I saw on Instagram, obviously. They were like, bye, Hamptons. Thanks for a great summer. And so I feel like once they get back to their house in Calabasas, things will start, hopefully, to get normal. They'll have their usual schedules they have, and they can kind of get back into that home structure. And I think that'll be good for Scott.
Let me make one more prediction. It's much more pessimistic, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys think about it very quickly. Because we get in a lot of comments about this on YouTube from some people. I think this show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it's on season 9. It's on its last legs. I don't know if this is the last year, if they try to go for a season 10. There's not much left. They do a lot of spin-offs. Some are more successful than others, but they're really dragging out some storylines that are really not that interesting, episode after episode after episode. And God knows we love the Kardashians. It's getting stale even for them.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time they have left.
Yeah. I take back my prediction about Khloe and French Montana. That was out of line. I'm sorry. I've just been thinking about that the whole time. I was like, I shouldn't have said that.
Well, thanks for listening.
Only the best for Khloe, you know? Okay, anyways.
All right, ladies.
I tried to get that out there.
All right, well, hey, that's it this week on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Guys, if you haven't yet, please subscribe on iTunes. Keep commenting on YouTube and all that sort of good stuff. Speaking of YouTube and social media and stuff like that, if they wanted to, say, tweet you, ladies, where would they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well at Miss Jessie Owen.
Twitter, Instagram, XOXOCESCA.
I'm on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro, Instagram at Mr. Bobby DeMuro. Thank you guys very much for watching this week. We'll be back next week, as always, because we can't leave. We live here at AfterBuzz. Every Sunday night on the Kardashians. Guys, we'll see you a week from tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.